Fear often feels like an automatic response, something that appears without warning and takes control before you have the chance to think clearly. But the truth is that fear is not permanent, and it is not stronger than your ability to reshape it through conscious awareness and consistent mental practice. When you begin to understand that your thoughts are not fixed but flexible, you unlock the ability to guide your mind in a new direction, one that supports courage instead of hesitation. Every time you face a challenge, your brain searches for familiar patterns, and if those patterns are built on doubt or past negative experiences, your reaction will naturally lean toward fear. However, by intentionally introducing new thoughts, affirmations, and mental images, you begin to interrupt that automatic cycle and replace it with something more empowering. This is where the concept of the courage mindset truly begins to take form, because courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. You train your mind by repetition, just like building a muscle, and each small act of bravery strengthens your internal belief that you are capable, resilient, and in control. Instead of asking yourself, "What if I fail?" you gradually shift to, "What if I succeed?" And that simple change starts to influence your emotional response, your body language, and ultimately your actions. The key is consistency, because one positive thought is not enough to override years of conditioning, but daily practice begins to rewire your subconscious in a powerful way. Visualization becomes an important tool here, allowing you to mentally rehearse success before it happens in real life, which reduces anxiety and increases confidence when the moment arrives. At the same time, self-talk plays a critical role, because the words you repeat internally shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your reality. When you speak to yourself with strength and certainty, even if it feels unnatural at first, you are planting seeds that will grow over time into genuine confidence. It is also important to accept that discomfort is part of growth, and rather than avoiding it, you learn to see it as a signal that you are stepping beyond your limits and expanding your potential. With each step forward, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that fear does not have the final say, and that realization becomes a turning point in your mindset. Over time, what once felt intimidating begins to feel manageable, and eventually even exciting, because you recognize challenges as opportunities rather than threats, and that shift changes everything about how you experience life. As you continue developing this courage-driven mindset, you begin to notice that your reactions to uncertainty start to change in subtle but powerful ways, and situations that once triggered anxiety no longer hold the same level of control over your emotions. This transformation does not happen overnight, but through steady and intentional effort. Your mind gradually becomes more aligned with confidence rather than fear. One of the most important aspects of this process is learning how to stay present, because fear often lives in imagined futures filled with worst-case scenarios that have not actually happened. When you train yourself to focus on the present moment, you reduce the mental noise that feeds your fear, and instead create space for clarity and calm decision-making. This practice allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, which is a key trait of a courageous mindset. Inspired by the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, you begin to understand that your subconscious mind responds to the thoughts you consistently impress upon it, meaning that repetition of positive beliefs can eventually override deeply rooted fear patterns. By consciously choosing empowering thoughts and reinforcing them daily, you start to reshape your inner world, and as a result, your outer experiences begin to reflect that change. Another essential part of building courage is taking action even when you do not feel completely ready, because waiting for perfect confidence often leads to inaction. Confidence is built through action, not before it, and each step you take reinforces your belief in your own abilities. Even small actions matter, because they create momentum, and momentum builds strength over time. You also learn to redefine failure, seeing it not as something to avoid, but as a valuable source of feedback that helps you grow stronger and wiser. This shift in perspective removes much of the pressure that fear creates, allowing you to approach challenges with curiosity instead of dread. At the same time, surrounding yourself with positive influences, whether through books, videos, or supportive people, helps reinforce the mindset you are working to build. The environment you expose yourself to plays a significant role in shaping your thoughts. So choosing content that uplifts and motivates you becomes an important part of your daily routine. As your mindset continues to evolve, you begin to trust yourself more deeply, recognizing that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. This self-trust becomes the foundation of true confidence, and it allows you to move forward in life with a sense of purpose and determination that is no longer dependent on external validation. Over time, fear loses its power, not because it disappears completely, but because you have learned how to manage it, understand it, and ultimately rise above it with strength and clarity. As this transformation deepens, you begin to realize that courage is not just something you use in moments of challenge, but a way of thinking that influences every part of your life, shaping how you make decisions, how you communicate, and how you pursue your goals with intention and clarity. What once felt like overwhelming uncertainty starts to feel like a space of possibility, because you no longer interpret the unknown as something dangerous, but rather as something that holds potential for growth and new opportunities. This shift is powerful because it changes your relationship with risk, allowing you to step outside of your comfort zone more freely without being held back by the fear of what might go wrong. Instead, you begin to focus on what could go right, and that perspective fuels your motivation to keep moving forward. Inspired by the principles associated with Dr. Joseph Murphy, you come to understand that your subconscious mind does not distinguish between real and imagined experiences, which means that the images and thoughts you consistently hold will shape your reality over time. By choosing to imagine yourself acting with confidence, speaking with clarity, and succeeding in your efforts, you create a mental blueprint that your mind begins to follow naturally. This process strengthens your belief system, and as your beliefs become more empowering, your actions begin to reflect that inner change in a visible and meaningful way. You also start to recognize the importance of discipline in maintaining this mindset, because without consistent effort, it is easy to fall back into old patterns of doubt and hesitation. Discipline does not mean forcing yourself harshly, but rather committing to daily practices that support your growth, such as mindful reflection, intentional thinking, and taking small but meaningful steps toward your goals. Over time, these habits become second nature, and the effort required to think courageously becomes less intense because it starts to feel normal and automatic. At the same time, you learn to be patient with yourself, understanding that growth is not always linear and that setbacks are a natural part of the process. Instead of allowing those setbacks to discourage you, you use them as reminders of how far you have come and as opportunities to strengthen your resilience even further. This balanced approach, combining persistence with self-compassion, creates a sustainable path toward lasting confidence. As you continue on this journey, you begin to inspire others simply through your actions, showing them that it is possible to rise above fear and take control of your mindset in a powerful way. Your presence becomes more grounded, your decisions more intentional, and your outlook more optimistic, all because you have chosen to cultivate courage from within rather than waiting for it to appear on its own.